Welcome back. This is episode 3 of our most frequently asked questions. I'm Greg. This is Stephanie. We're both real estate agents here in the Florida Keys, so if you are looking to sell your property and upgrade or downgrade or move to North Carolina, or you want to buy something down here in Paradise, please don't hesitate to reach out. Moving on. What is our next question, Stephanie?
I'm glad you asked.
Ooh, are you?
Yeah, our next question is, we're starting off with a banger.
Oh, we did leave a cliffhanger on that last one.
We did. What is Fantasy Fest? So I'm going to give you, I'll give you the official answer. Fantasy Fest is, it's basically a big party for grown-ups at the end of October in Key West.
Did your phone die or something?
No, it's just, I was trying to. So Fantasy Fest is an annual 10-day party in Paradise for grown-ups. Started in 1979 by a small group of Key West locals. That's the official answer. This year, 2023, the actual dates are October 20th to the 29th. So it's not always the last 10 days of October. It's kind of how the calendar falls.
That's weird.
For 2023, it's October 20th to 29th. And they always have a theme. This year, it's uniforms and unicorns.
Okay.
So within Fantasy Fest's 10 days of activities, there are a lot of different activities. So it's not like, if you're aware of Fantasy Fest, it's not just like hordes of naked people walking around on the streets. That's part of it, right? But like we participate. A lot
of them are truly naked.
Right. Yes. Not naked. Right. But like scantily clad.
Getting close.
Yeah. We participated in the zombie bike ride last year.
6,000 people.
6,000
riding their bikes, essentially from the airport down to the Truman Annex area at the Coffee Butler? Am I making that up?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yes.
Amphitheater, yeah.
So, good little trek.
Yes, it was a good trek. Yeah, so we did that. That was a Fantasy Fest activity. And then we also...
Festival.
Yep.
That I think might be what opens it up is the Goombay Festival.
The festival and the parade. Yep. The Goombay, yeah. Yep. And then, so we did that.
And
that
we got real lucky.
We
got real lucky because at where we were at, and we didn't know this, but so they do the Goombay Festival parade. And it's a pretty small parade, but very cool.
Yeah.
They went right by our house.
Yeah.
Like
just sat
literally,
on our front porch.
We were like, what in the heck? What in the heck's going on? Because there's a bunch of noise and music and
bunch of people like dressed in almost like carnival type I don't know, it's
but very cool.
Similar. Yeah, so that's part of it that we participated in, and then also the pet masquerade. So it's it's basically a pet costume party, but you can dress up with your pet. So we did that with Perry, and she won second place.
She did win second place.
Yeah, so that was fun. But
so we have to really dress up this year.
We're already planning. We're already scheming.
Essentially, we can do what we did last year.
We could, yeah. But
she was a unicorn. So
that's basically what Fantasy Fest is. It's a big party for grown-ups.
Yep.
And it's lots of different things over the course of 10 days. So, there's a little something for everyone, I would say.
Probably not something if you're planning like a really good family trip.
Yeah.
Probably not something you want to bring your kids to.
Yeah.
Can you still come to Key West and avoid a lot of that? Yes. Just don't go on Duval at night.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's Fantasy
Fest. It's also
Fest.
a very popular... Sorry, Winnie's...
Winnie was celebrating, and she rolled off the couch, but right to where her ramp is.
So she rolled on the ramp.
Rolled onto her ramp.
It's also a very popular time on the island, so it'll probably be more expensive to stay here. So another reason, not necessarily the best time to come for a family vacay. But yeah, so that's what Fantasy Fest is. And Google it, because you can go to their website and you can see pictures, you can see activities, the dates for this year, the theme for this year. So Google it if you want to know more.
Probably past winners of the Pet Masquerade and second place winners.
Yeah. So, next question. Can you help me find a rental? Long-term or short-term? So, long-term, the answer is not really.
We could point you in directions.
We can point you in directions.
There's a lot of Facebook groups that I would suggest joining.
Yep. Yep. So, I mean, we can give you some insights. If you reach out to us, we can point you in directions. There are very few affordable long-term rentals ever listed on the MLS. So we don't have access to a ton more information with regard to long-term rentals than you do. We have helped some people, friends of friends, some people who have been referred to us. We have lent them a hand in finding long-term rental. And really what that looked like was, helping them keep an eye on Facebook groups and things that pop up, because ultimately what you're going to have to do is closely monitor Facebook groups and things like that, and jump when you see something that's a fit, because it's incredibly competitive. So,
and a lot of them for long terms are first, last, and security, and the security is the same as your rent.
Yeah.
So you need to bring like
$12,000 to the table,
$15,000, $20,000 to the table, just to get a place.
Right. So we, in the question of can you help us find a long-term rental, I say no, because there's nothing that we can do in that situation that you can't also do. Yeah. Ultimately, it's looking, it's jumping, it's being the first, it's being the most responsive, it's being the one with the cash. So there's not really anything professionally that we offer in that situation. But if you are looking and you are serious and you have a job here and you really need to find a place, you can reach out to us, DM us or email us or whatever, and we can give you some pointers, like for some Facebook groups to join to keep your eyes peeled, maybe a couple of other places to look. Now, with regard to short-term rentals, the answer is if you have a property and you are wanting someone to manage it for vacation rentals, we can absolutely help you with that. If you are currently right now at this recording, which is April 19th, 2023, if you are looking for a vacation rental, we cannot help you at this very moment. Very shortly, we will be able to help you. We will be able to point you in directions of properties that we manage, but at this moment, currently, no. So our best advice would be look on VRBO, look on Airbnb. Those are your two best places. Actually, on the Keys, VRBO is significantly more popular for whatever reason, so that would be the first place that I would point you. So yeah, that's the answer to that question.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Can you manage my rental?
Oh, I think you kind of just answered that one.
We can definitely talk about it. So if you have a property that you would like rented out long-term or short-term for vacation rentals, reach out to us.
And that's one of our most frequently asked questions. Not that, but do we have rentals
soon
on our TikTok Live?
Yeah.
So it could be beneficial for us to manage a property because of the amount of times we get asked that, and because of our platform on other social medias.
Right, because, there are, to be very transparent, a lot of property managers on this island, but they're all advertising in the exact same places, right? They're all, which is fine, and that's good, and those are good places to be.
Absolutely.
But we also have this other place where we can advertise to people who are asking us that question. They're literally asking us, do you have a place for us to stay? So if you do have a property, and like I said, if you want to rent it long-term or short-term for vacation renting, reach out to us and we can talk about it. Love to have a conversation. Alrighty. So I want to buy a home in the Keys eventually. Maybe not right this second. Can you help me?
Yeah. Of course we can.
Do you want to answer this one?
I was going to let you go.
Oh, okay.
I'm just giving this short and sweet. I'm used to my lives on TikTok. Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Reach out to us.
So if you are looking to buy imminently, of course we can help you. If you're looking to buy eventually, of course we can help you. It just looks a little bit different in terms of the workflow. So if you're looking to buy imminently, we're going to have a completely different conversation with you in terms of, do you have a pre-approval letter, or do you have a proof of funds? Where are you looking to buy? Do you want to start looking at places?
To even show you places is pre-approval and our proof of funds if you're paying with cash. Yeah,
down here, because you have to imagine there are so many people who are coming onto this island who are vacationing, who just want to look at property just for like the fun of it. And so, for the most part, if you want to look at any property down here, you're going to have to show that you actually are qualified to buy it before before the list agent will let you in, essentially. So that'll be the first question. If you're looking to buy imminently, if you're wanting to look at property, if you're wanting to potentially write an offer on a property, that's going to be the conversation we have with you. If you're wanting to buy eventually and you're just kind of kicking around the idea and you're wondering what's available, then the conversation is going to be a little bit different. We'll send you a link to a form where we can gather all the data of what it is that you're looking for, and then we're going to set you up a search. And so you're going to get emailed properties that fit your criteria frequently. And then once you get to a place where you are ready to actually potentially write an offer on a property, if you found something that was a fit, then we're going to have the pre-approval or proof of funds
and that would still be something we would encourage you to already start that process.
Absolutely.
Depending on when you were looking to buy. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
saying, I'm not going to buy for like 2 years, well, then a lot can change in 2
Sure.
years. But if it's like a 3 to 6 month thing, we still would encourage you to, if you're going to be financing, to speak with someone who can help you with that.
And something else that's important to note too, when we're talking about pre-approval, that is, a lender saying, yes, based on this information, they would be able to get a loan from us for X amount of dollars, a number that would buy the house that you're interested in looking at. Proof of funds would be if you are a cash buyer. And so what that looks like is you showing, most often through like a letter from your bank, but also there are a couple of other ways to do it, but proof of funds showing that you actually have the cash, and that means cash available. You could write the check right now. So it's not in the conversation of do you have the cash, that can't be tied up in investments. That would not be looked at as cash. That could, maybe that could be a conversation, part of the conversation you have with a lender. But if we're talking about a cash transaction, we literally mean cash available to write that check right now. So just so you guys know. But again, the original question was, I want to buy a home eventually. Can you help me? The answer is absolutely we can. It's just going to be basically us setting up a search, and you can start perusing, seeing what the market's doing, seeing what's out there, seeing what you could get for the number you're thinking you want to spend. And we would just kind of start the conversation at that point. And then once you got more serious, then we'd start talking about, money, really. All right. What do I need to buy a home?
Money.
Yeah.
Down here, not in all situations, but
some money. Well, yeah, I guess not necessarily in every situation.
You need to be willing to move.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have your financing situated.
That's the number one thing.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
You need to be prepared for your property tax,
insurance,
your insurance,
yep. HOA if you have one,
HOAs.
Yep.
So
cost of living down here.
Cost of living is a little bit more. So you just need to. We wouldn't want you to say, "Oh, I'm going to buy that $500,000 place," which there's not very many here in Key West. Just FYI, and just think like, "Sweet, I'm just going to have my mortgage." Well, you're going to have to factor in a lot of other stuff into that. So cost of living is definitely more down here in the Keys and definitely in Key West. Now, you can live differently, right? So instead of saying, I'm going to eat out every day, which is expensive, you can say, I'm going to make turkey sandwiches. That's going to save you a lot of money. So you can, there's ways to do it to where you could do it. If you want to live in Key West, if you want to live in the Florida Keys, figure it out. So
the question being, what do I need to buy a home? The number one thing is money. Absolutely. No question. So let's say that everything else that Greg just talked about, you're good with, right? Like you're good with the cost of living. You understand it's going to be more than your mortgage payment, all of that stuff. This is the number one thing I would say. If you're serious about buying a home anywhere, right? But certainly down here in this market, have your money squared away. So if you're getting a loan, you need to be talking to a loan officer, someone who can have this conversation with you, look at what you make, look at what you have saved, look at your assets, look at everything, look at your debt to income ratio.
You need to be ready to rock and roll. Because here's a really good example.
Yeah.
Is we had someone reach out to us, a really cute little place.
Yep.
Is off Petronia? Well, it doesn't really matter. Really cute place, remodeled for about $750. And
it wasn't Petronia.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you're talking about.
No, it's Julia.
Yeah.
But for $750, really cute. And it went like that. You have to have your money ready to rock and roll. A lot of times those are going to be preferred cash because at the $750 range. But you got to be ready to go if you're in that million, 1.5 or less.
Yeah.
Because that's when the bidding starts and goes very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what, your money has to be figured out because in order for us to show you a house, you're going to have to show that you can actually afford that house. That's just the way it works down here. Like a list agent is 99 times out of 100, they're not going to let you in the house unless you can prove that you can actually buy it if you like it. But regardless of that, to Greg's point, $1 million and under is super competitive here. If it's something that is remotely nice, that remotely livable, and that sounds so crazy. I mean, if before we moved here, that would sound like huge numbers.
A single family home in Old Town.
A single family home. This was the one we're talking about was a 1-1. It was a 1-1, but it was adorable.
It was amazing,
really cool.
Amazing
location. Had been redone inside and out. The yard was really nice. It checked a lot of
phenomenal
boxes
location
for a lot of people. And when we went and looked at it, it was absolutely swarmed, and they were showing it like 12 more times, no exaggeration, that day, and it was under contract. If I had to guess, there was probably a bidding war. Would be my guess.
There's probably multiple offers.
So that is the situation where you either want to have your pre-approval letter, or, and to Greg's point, it probably needs to be a cash transaction at that point to be the most competitive. It doesn't have to be, but that's the most compelling if you're a seller, because there's a lot less that can go wrong if it's a cash transaction. But if it's a cash transaction, you need to have that cash free. You need to be able to cut a check that day. You're not going to cut a check that day, but ultimately that's what you want to be able to show in your proof of funds is you have that cash. It is available. You can write a check that day. Yep. So the question is, what do I need to do to buy a house down there? Absolutely far and away, number one, not even close. Nothing else is even close. You got to have your money in order, whatever that looks like for you.
Yep.
All right. What is the difference between a transient license and a non-transient license?
Ooh, good one.
This is a good one.
So the non-transient, 30 days or more.
Rentals. These are rentals.
These are for rentals.
These are vacation rental licenses.
30 days or more. The transient, a day or, nightly.
Yep. So non-transient licenses are still issued by the city. Transient licenses, so transient is the nightly, those are no longer issued by the city.
You have to be in a receivership zone.
There are certain zones on the island where you can have a transient license on your property, which means you can do nightly rentals. You cannot just get a transient license and put it on any property on the island.
You can't buy them anymore through the city. You can buy them from other people who want to sell their transient license.
You'll see them on the MLS sometimes. Yeah.
And those usually range from $200,000 to $500,000. It just depends on whatever everyone wants to sell
license. That's just the license. You're just buying the license. So you got to have the property that is in the receivership zone that is qualified for you to put that license on that house. That's the transient. That's the nightly. So that's kind of a weird whole other separate conversation from then the monthly rentals. But the monthly rentals, technically those licenses are still being issued by the city, and that's for any property on the island.
Monthly rentals.
Yep. Yeah. So anything can have a non-transient license, but only specific properties are qualified to have a transient license.
A lot in the Truman Annex as of right now.
Yes, the Truman Annex is
transients.
A very interesting property because they have, I think the technical term is like a blanket transient license that was applicable for the entire Truman Annex, including the shipyard area. Interestingly enough, there are a few that don't have it.
I know.
But very, very, very few. Otherwise, the whole area is they allow for nightly rentals. That's why it's very popular for people to stay there. But that's also going to be coming up for conversation. It technically, the transient license in the Truman Annex technically expires in 2025. We don't know what's going to happen, but
Has a sunset clause.
Yeah, has a sunset clause. So we'll see what happens.
Who knows what's going to happen with that?
Yeah. So that's the difference between transient and non-transient. And there's even more to say about that, but we won't. That's the basic difference.
Yeah. So this FAQ has turned into a lot of real estate. We truthfully didn't plan it that way. We just kind of were.
I probably was like just on a real estate kick when I was writing these down. So these are just, this is off the top of my head.
You want to do one more?
Sure.
Okay.
Why is Key West so expensive?
Man, I wish it wasn't, but it is. Key West is a resort town. This is a destination where a lot of people want to come and visit. It's a 2x4 island. So it's not like you're like, well, there's a extra 100 acres over there. Let's go build right there.
You're not building.
You can't do that. Yeah. You're on an island as far south as you can go. So getting fuel down here, getting groceries down here, all that's a little bit more. So it's just a destination place, and you're starting to see to where there's actually like no downtime. It's always
busy.
They're still going to say low seasons in the summer, but it's almost like it's high season all the time. So
yeah, it's high season for someone, right? Because it's like in the winter, it's high season for the snowbirds because they're here, and in the summer, it's high season for the vacationers,
people who are coming here with their kids because they're vacationing and all that stuff. Or you got lobster season.
It's just
that's
different
happening,
seasons, really.
Yeah, so I think that's just why it's more expensive. People want to live in. I know I'm using this term, but people want to live in paradise, and
they're willing to pay.
They're willing to pay. I mean, it's pay to be here. You got to pay to be here, especially if you want to live here. That's why the property prices are so expensive. I was actually looking at the MLS today, and a property went up for sale for $15 million up north, and then a $4.5 million one in Marathon, but beautiful, very beautiful. That one's a awesome property, and then like another $5 million one and one almost $6 million. So there's still those prices. I think people were hoping that the prices would start to go down. I haven't really seen that trend. I've seen it maybe go down a little bit, but it's almost like it's starting to just go right back up.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I think again, it's demand. I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like, this isn't, middle America, right? Yeah. And it's just a different market, and there's really just constant demand. People they want to be here, and demand drives, prices
I think there's certain areas around the world that are just more expensive, and this is one of them.
Absolutely. It's like the same question of like, why is New York City so expensive? Why is San Francisco? There's a lot of a lot of stuff that goes into it. It's a bit of a complicated answer, but I think the most
short
simple,
and sweet.
People want to be here.
People want to be here. It's beautiful. It's sure you have some stormy days, but a stormy day here is still awesome.
Yeah, and you have your hurricanes, but you have. I mean, you do. We talk about this. You have stuff anywhere. It's not to downplay the severity or the danger of hurricanes or anything like that. We take them as seriously as anyone, but there's pros and cons of everywhere. So we were driving over 7 Mile Bridge the other day, and I was like, when people ask, why would you live somewhere where there's hurricanes? And I like pointed out the window, like it's paradise, so it's
even drives to Marathon, which is about an hour and a half. Doesn't feel like an hour and a half.
No.
You're driving essentially through water. I mean, you got water on both sides. You have a road. You're not literally going through water, but you got water on both sides, and it's a beautiful drive, and it's
for us. It's worth it. For the people who are here, clearly they would say that it's worth it. I think that there are places in the world where I would say, well, I don't personally understand why someone would live there, right? But for those people that live there, that works for them. So it's really it's super personal. And for us, like, we feel like it's worth it to live here. This is our happy place, and we're really glad that we live here. But it is absolutely expensive. That is not lost on us at all. Like,
No, it's not.
we won't gaslight you and say, what do you mean? No,
We know it's expensive.
It's very expensive to live here. It is. And that's because, again, it's paradise and people want to be here. So it's just demand, really.
Cool.
Yeah. So we'll leave it here for now.
Yeah, we're going to leave it here. This one was short and sweet, but it was still 25 minutes long.
Yeah.
So not that short and sweet.
We could keep going. Look at all these questions.
We have a lot more questions. So this is just part 3.
Part 3.
Of the frequently asked questions that we get every morning on our TikTok when we do our lives. So thank you for everyone for asking those questions.
Yes.
Otherwise, it'd just be me rambling kind of like I am right now. So once again, we're both real estate agents. This turned into a real estate FAQ, which, hey, I'm not angry with that.
Yeah.
Reach out to us if you want to sell or buy down here in the Florida Keys. So once again, thank you, and we will see you later for
Bye.
part 4. See ya.